Hi everyone, Jim here. I just went out to my garage to bring in some fresh veggies and it is snowing like crazy. So what do you do on a day like this? Well, you make soup. We're going to warm things up with one of my favorite soups, Dr. Furman's Cheesy Kale Soup. This is one of the first recipes I tried when I made a commitment to Dr. Furman's Eat to Live program. The recipe introduced me to several items I'd never cooked with before: kale, carrot juice, nutritional yeast, and cashews. It just sounded like a weird combination, so I had to give it a try. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to start making our cheesy kale soup. What I've got here is the pressure cooker. I've taken our yellow split peas, which I soaked earlier, and covered them with water. We're going to cook those up in the pressure cooker on high pressure for about 6 to 8 minutes. And I'm taking the kale and I'm cleaning it off very well. As nutritious as kale is for you, it is also amongst it's in the Dirty Dozen recently, which is the highest amount of pesticides. So if you can buy organic, that definitely is the better way to go. But there's what our kale looks like. We're going to strip off these tough stems, and then we'll have it ready for our soup. Now, if you're going to make cheesy kale soup, you do have two options. You can use cashews, natural cashews. If you have a Vitamix, you can make your own nut butter. Or if you don't have a Vitamix or you prefer not to make your own, you can buy cashew butter in a health food store. Again, you want to try to get organic with as few added ingredients as possible. But since I have a Vitamix, we're going to go ahead and make our cashew butter right here at home. Making any kind of nut butter in a Vitamix is really a snap. What you do is you take your nuts, you should soak them and then rinse them. Put your nuts in the Vitamix, put them all in there. Put the cap on. And I always start off on a very low setting. We're going to add just a little bit of water, not too much, just a bit. And we'll start this up on low. And we'll gradually bring it up a little bit higher. And we're ready to use our tamper. We'll crank up our speed a little bit. We can just tamper this down. And a little bit more water. And I used about a half a cup of water to do this. And as you can see, there is our cashew butter, very similar to what we'd have it from store-bought, except of course this is all natural. It has no artificial preservatives at all, so it's fresh right from the nut. And that's cashew butter. You can do all sorts of butters, and it's useful in making salad dressings and that sort of thing. So I use my Vitamix just about every day. Okay, I've reduced the pressure on our pressure cooker, and you can see our split peas are done. And it says now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So we're going to add the mushrooms. There goes our mushrooms. And we had chopped onions. And our tomato sauce. And in this case, I'm using a bottled carrot juice. You can you can juice your own carrots if you wish. Of course, it'll be a little bit more healthy if you do it that way. And there we have the rest of our ingredients. The only thing we need to add now is the kale. And there goes our kale. Put a bunch of it in there. And of course this will all cook down, but you still want a good bunch of kale. The recipe calls for a pound and a half of kale, so that's a lot of kale. Just stick it all in there. Give it a stir. We're going to put the top back on and we're going to let it cook under pressure for another minute or so. And then we're going to add our cashew butter and we'll be able to enjoy this delicious soup. And here's where that cheesy part of the cheesy kale soup comes from. This is nutritional yeast. The recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of it, so I'm going to just go ahead and apply it pretty liberally here. That's about 4 tablespoons right there. And that'll give us a nice cheesy taste to the soup. And some added nutrition. Okay, we've got our soup ready to go. We're going to now add in our cashew butter, which we just made. If you're using the stuff from the jar, you would just add that in. Stir it around. And I usually let it simmer for about 15 minutes before serving. This does, haven't tried freezing it, but it does hold up for a good long while, so I usually will make a batch, let's say on a weekend, for the rest for the week, and we can use that for soup. I usually have 2 or 3 different soups in my refrigerator pre-made. So we can alternate which soup of the day, but we try to have some soup each day. And there you have it, cheesy kale soup. This is from the Dr. Furman website. It's creamy, and it tastes cheesy, and it has none of those bad guys in it. So enjoy. Bon appetit. This is Jim. Thanks for watching.